What's up everybody, Chris here with the Riding Dad channel. Today we are going to install a Moons Motorcycle Culture V2 taillight. This taillight is special for a couple reasons, but before I tell you why, let's roll that intro.
Riding down a YouTube channel, it's the Riding down a YouTube channel, it's the Riding down a YouTube channel, it's the Riding down a
Alright, so this is the V2. They do have a V1 and then they have the V2. The V2 is just improved LEDs from my understanding, a little bit improved design as well. And this is special for a couple of reasons. So a lot of companies have a taillight with integrated turn signals nowadays because you put saddlebags on it, it just looks better, a couple different reasons to do it. Specifically, I'm getting it because the saddlebags I already placed an order for. It's a hint to subscribe so you see that video when it comes out. Anyway, the saddlebags that I placed an order for do not allow for the typical little, nubby styles. So I needed a taillight, and like I said, there's a couple different companies that produce these kinds. However, I went with the Moons for a few reasons. One, they were in stock. They're like the only company that has stuff in stock right now for taillights. I don't know why, but every company I've ever seen, their stuff is just out of stock like for months. I just, look at it periodically and it's always out of stock. So anyway, Moons is not only in stock, but they have a very special feature that none other ones do. So you can turn this feature on and off, so you don't have to be committed to it, but it does have a strobing effect. So as soon as you hit the brakes, the rear light, being the tail light, will strobe 5 times to get somebody's attention, and it'll stay constant on. So it's a very good feature, and you can turn it off. There's a little button inside that you can turn on and off, and I'll show you that when it gets on the bike. But yeah, so let's unbox this puppy. And I will say that I am sporting a Moons MC shirt. They have a lot of sick shirts, and I'm actually really sad because the shirt that I really wanted, out of stock. But this one's pretty cool too. I'll post a picture of the back, that way you can see it also. But quick shipping, really good products, so check them out. They have a lot of different headlights and some cool stuff as well. Pretty cool company. So, a lot of really cool stickers. I am a sucker for stickers, and actually my favorite one of the stickers is actually the same exact design of the shirt that I wanted, and they were out of stock. That's already in my sticker collection being used, but these are really cool too, and this is the same sticker as the back of this shirt. So a lot of stickers, which is really cool. Got a business card, directions, which I'm going to try to do without because I don't like directions. I don't think you like directions either. Nobody likes directions, but they do have them, which is cool. So like I said, this is the V2. They have different colors for the lenses, and I got the smoke lens because I'm trying to be all murdered out with this this build for this lowrider. So let me move you guys. I'll spin around and we'll start prepping the bike. I will say that I already took the seat off because that's kind of self-explanatory. So I already took the seat off. What's next? I'll be taking the fender over, not remove the fender, but yeah, you know what? Come over here, you'll find out. Howdy. Okay, so what we're gonna need first is a Torx 45. This is my bike, which is a 2020 Softail. It's a Lowrider S, and you're gonna remove both of these bolts. Okay, then you're gonna do that on the other side. Once you have both bolts on both sides removed, I think it's handy to grab kind of a plastic prior. There's gonna be a bar, almost looks like a skateboard. Just basically fit that plastic in there, kind of get at it, and kind of wedge it out. Wedge it out. And it will look like this, and this will be on both sides. Those go through the inside of the fender and through the struts, and you can just set these aside until later. Also, I forgot to mention that it does help a little bit if you prop the bike up on a lift. I have it just lifted up to allow you to get a little bit more room in between this tire, just to drop that rear tire as low as possible. Give you a little bit extra room in there. So you got both side bolts removed. You have these inserts removed out of the inside of the fender. Now there's going to be 2 bolts on the inside about right here. They're also going to be Torx 45, and what I'm about to do may or may not be recommended to you. So do as I say and not as I do. I recommend you doing an alternative way if you have a way. I tried a couple different ways, and I even tried with like a swivel, and I was just too worried it was gonna strip. So what I'm gonna do is basically rotate this fender, making sure that it doesn't, you know, there's a little bit of space here, so making sure that that doesn't rotate or whatever reason, and kind of squeeze a little bit and rotate it just enough to get my hand in there and take care of that. So let's do that. These are incredibly tight, and a breaker bar really does help to get them started. There you go, and you see it's gonna fall, so I'm gonna get a piece of cloth to put there. All right, so once they're loosened, it'll tend to fall. You just I'm gonna put some pajamas there, and we'll get them out the rest of the way. And for these, you don't need to take them out all the way. You just need them loosened a decent amount so you get a little bit of space for that fender. So now, let's go and take these puppies out. All right, these are our Torx 40. Should come out pretty easy. Take this apart. There's a little clip there. You push the bulb in and to the left to get it out. Timeout. I realized while editing this that I never fully explained why I did what I did. So the reason is when you take your turn signals off, they're two separate wires that quickly disconnect and connect to harness under the seat, just like your main wire for your taillight. They sell, I know Gorilla makes like a 3-in-1, and I believe other companies make some, but Gorilla is like the most popular one that I can find. And it's basically a 3-in-1. So they're long wires that extend the same plug-and-play connectors that you would need for your actual taillight bracket in your actual, like your holder. So they do completely make a plug-and-play. Not only did I not have it, but I did not want to spend an extra, I think when I checked it was like 70 or 80 bucks. And then I'm not sure if it was shipping or not, but I did not want to spend that. The way I did it is disconnectable. You'll see when I solder in the pins, but had you not had the solder, had you not had the wire connectors, any of that, you might as well just buy the kit. So also, if you want to just do a complete plug and play and you don't want to go that in depth or cut anything, you know, you can go ahead and do that. However, the turn signal wires were already going to have to be cut and or trashed anyway, so I didn't ruin anything as far as that. The only thing that I could have, you know, ruined, if you want to look at it that way, is cutting the little plug and play connectors from the Moons MC taillight off, but you can always put those back on. It is what it is. That's how I did it. I wanted to save the money. I'm okay with how I did it, but in the long run, it's up to you. But they do make cables that are completely plug and play, so you don't have to do it this way. So, all right, back to the video. All right, guys, so a lot has happened in that 2 seconds that the screen's been black. It's been about an hour or two for me, probably. So what I've done was take both of the wires out. Basically, the wires are just kind of in there, and you cut the wires. At least this is what I did. It is going to be kind of in depth if you follow exactly what I did. So cut the ends of those wires, and I wound up installing a little kind of flat release, and I'll show you what the tail light looks like and what I did with that. So I installed that, and then I cut the purple is the hot wire. So I basically soldered this wire extension to get it to the tail light, to the actual cable that plugs in over under the seat for the tail lights themselves, or not the tail lights, the turn signal, sorry. And then I rethreaded those through the hole that the tail light wire comes through instead of up the struts like they were prior. So the reason I did this, well, you know what, let me get the tail light. So the new tail light originally had this one, which was for the actual brake light, and this white plug, and then it had these little plugs, and there were spots in the brake light housing, the stock housing. However, there was no power to them. So this, when I flip this down and put all those screws back, this white piece is going to plug in for the regular tail light. And then I cut these little clips off of the turn signal wires for this and soldered them to these little clips. So basically I can still take the tail light out of the housing if I want, without having to cut any wires if for whatever reason I need to do that. It's not a super quick detach, but like I said, I had these parts. Worst case scenario, I can always buy the wire set again. I didn't do any incredibly terrible damage to it, so this is what I did. Now I'm going to put the screws back in, lower that, tighten those using blue Loctite for everything. Lower this, and we will install this tail light and see what it looks like. Back real quick, I did forget to say, not only did I put heat shrink on this just like I did over at these ends, but I have this, I don't really know what to call it. It's almost like a silicone tape, but it basically is weatherproof, heat proof, and you basically stretch it and it forms a seal within itself. So I put that over top of this just in case as well, because I know that's going to form a weather tight seal, and it's very tight. So I did that. All right, so here's what we got right now. And this is the new tail light. So this clips up to that, and then let's put these for the turn signal then. Put just a little bit of heat shrink on them just to keep the bare metal from touching everything else, and you can easily cut this off if you have to remove the light. So you'll take these screws out of the old headlight, or tail light, keep saying headlight. Put them in, put this little retaining ring on there. Same thing over here. Snug these wires into their little houses and put this clear side up. Let's do it. Before I show you what it looks like, I want to just show you the profile difference. Look at how much thicker this stock boy is. It's probably about double the size, and although this comes smoke on the Lowrider S, other models do not, obviously, but fortunately this is LED and smoke, but this is like blacked out, which is awesome. And as you can see, the LEDs are still very bright, and the strobe effect does help a lot for people to see you. So there you go.